Alright, you perverts. What do you want to know?
About what?
Okay, I'm going to do this instead. Hello and welcome to the Winter Q&A for Season Quest.
Ooh.
We're going to A some Qs. I got in trouble when I said we're going to Q some As.
The A's have been queued up, and we're about to A some Q's.
The Qs have been queued up, and we're about to A some Qs.
You're right.
Because our A's will be decided as we hear the Qs.
Something we should say, spoilers. I'll put that at the front as well. Spoilers. Hi, this is spoilers, obviously.
Yeah, spoilers for winter.
Yeah. I'm Lucy and I played Bungo the Good.
I'm Tom, and I played Thorkell Gorlaki.
I'm Troy, and I played Margo Rita.
And I'm Charlie, and I played everyone else.
Let's start from the beginning.
We received a question from Wesley asking what made us start the Season Quest podcast.
So, Season Quest is an idea I came up with while we were in production for a different project from top to bottom that Troy and I were working on. And I needed to think about something else for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with all of the idea of Season Quest at once on his couch.
That's right.
All of our seasons, she's thought up every story,
Yeah.
every character.
But that's just like the base idea for Season Quest. Everyone else has been doing their own characters and stories and such.
Yeah.
Lucy
Yeah.
messaged me and said, "Hey Tom, I've asked Troy and Charlie first, and then I asked a couple other D&D friends, but they didn't want to do it. So were you keen?" And I said, "Lovely, love to."
I've been a huge fan of D&D and podcasts and all this, and, you know, the Venn diagram middle bit of those two for ages. So, yeah, I felt like this would be a very fun thing to do. So far, it's not been, but, you know.
We also all attended the New Zealand School of Film and Television, where we played a couple of tabletop games, including Cyberpunk and a little bit of D&D.
A lot of bit of D&D for us. We
Yeah.
played D&D consistently over the whole year. Troy wasn't there because he doesn't like us.
That's true, the three of them played a lot together, and I kind of climbed aboard last minute so that we could get it published online and have people listen to your D&D games.
I was the DM most of the time, except for the times that Tom was.
I was the DM the rest of the time.
Yeah. Also a film school. That's how we all met. Anyway.
Yeah. Cool, I hope that answers your question, Wesley. We did it because we can.
We did it because we fucking wanted to.
So the first episode was Fresh Fish and Tennis Goblins. What was so there was that main city we started in?
Horizon's Gate.
Horizon's Gate.
Yes.
Was there more to that than we saw, or?
Horizon's Gate is not the capital city, but it is the most populated city of that continent in Aelia. It has a lot within it that I've run in other sessions, some wizard towers, some sea folk in the bay that have their own little community. Those didn't come up because they weren't relevant. But yeah, there's a little community of sea folk that live underneath all the boats and shit.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah.
Were they the fresh fucking fish?
They're the people who are the fishers that get the fresh fucking fish.
I have a question.
Okay, I have an answer.
Queen of Aelia, whatever. her name is.
Queen
Bela.
Queen Bela. When, she became queen after her uncle before, and there was sort of this little backstory we had, and a little bit of that backstory in the first episode. How much ahead had you planned the fleshing out of that, Charlie?
What do you mean?
Okay, like the fleshing out of the backstory of the uncle, because it does come up later on.
Yeah. So, Queen Bela and King Babaran was something that I worked out with Troy way before we started recording. Their whole story was decided while we were.
I served Queen Bela, and
Yeah.
I knew that she had done something to not betray King Babaran, but
go against his wishes.
Yeah. But I knew that we had purposely failed some sort of conquest earlier before the campaign took place, so I was aware of that before we began.
Cool.
You decided to open up your episode with Queen Bela's incredible speech that you'd written, and then followed it by a cutscene of the three of us, Bungo, Thorkell, and Margo, going up against, I believe it was a troll,
It was a troll.
or an ogre. Troll. What made you decide that was how we were beginning our adventure?
So I like doing that sort of epic intro sort of thing, but I wanted to sort of twist it where, the curtains come apart and no one's there. That sort of intro allows a player to describe how they are in battle without having to rely on the dice so that they might fail or might not fail. So you can be like, yeah, this is the cool shit I'm doing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And this is what my character's about.
See, I love that for the most part, but this was the first time I'd ever played a wizard, and I didn't know a lot about being a wizard at that point. So I didn't know I was going to do, like, stupid things in combat yet.
I knew I would hit hard and hit often.
Tom asked about my character's backstory. How far in advance had you guys talked about Thorfinn?
Thorfinn.
Our favourite character.
Yeah.
Thorfinn was.
I think Thorfinn's funny.
Yeah. He wasn't much.
He wasn't planned.
He wasn't planned.
We didn't even choose his age until the day we recorded, I think.
Yeah.
I think I said I wanted to have a kid, and Charlie was like, do you want to come along? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe. If you want him to. And then Charlie was like, okay. And then I think we decided...
And that's when I started being like, I can make something out of this.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Thorfinn had nothing.
Yeah.
He was a child that I had to give me character development.
I'm going to be honest, my character was not as well planned as your guys. Like, I didn't have any backstory. I was like, I wanted to be a wizard because I never played a wizard before and I love spells. Genuinely, the only bit that I had truly prepared in advance, like bar my spells and stuff, was my name. So that was the one I came up with ahead of time. Even then, I didn't realise I was going to name everything after Wombles until I started until we were at the table. And even I didn't come up with my name. Again, that was one of my mum.
Yeah, Jenny.
I came up with the good and she came up with the Bungo.
The thing about having characters with no backstory, though, that is a goldmine for DMs.
Yeah.
Because they can play in your entire history.
Yeah.
And you just have to go along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So episode 2 was Butterfly, Caterpillar, Stone and Fire, where we met our very favourite Mulholland.
Inarguably, the two most annoying characters to listen to while listening to the beginning of a podcast.
Yeah, Big Tree and Big Man.
Yeah, both slow voices that had a lot of pauses edited out by Lucy and Tom.
You don't know how much slower those voices were listening.
Do you want to give us a quick example of how quickly Woody Tree spoke to us?
I do want to say, just for the sake of giving Lucy way more credit, like, because she deserves a lot more credit than she gets.
So you were gonna say,
Yeah, I was
more credit than she's due.
Because I don't do any. All my editing is purely just sound levels. So Lucy is the one who has to cut out every single pause, which takes a fucking long time.
Or the many times we dox ourselves. Within the first season of Season Quest, me and Tom say our entire address probably 7 times.
I don't live there anymore.
You do.
When this comes out, I will.
Yeah, it comes out next week, Tom.
Not.
Yeah, can you give us an example of Woody Tree, the most...
I am...
Sick of this bit. Anyway, carrying on. Oh.
Tree.
Beautiful, thank you, Charlie.
Good grief.
Who?
Oh no!
I think when we recorded that was when we weren't really sure on how long an episode would be. Like, we were kind of stressed about how long it would take for that, like, whether or not that tree would eat up a whole episode to themselves and stuff like that. And if the first session would be 3 episodes, and it was like 2.
No, first session was 2.5.
Turn a little bit. It was, so we knew we wanted to have about hour-long episodes at the start. I just didn't know how sharply stuff would cut down. For the most part, about 50% gets cut out of every session. Occasionally more. For example, episode 10, Bevs and Beefy Boys, is 75 minutes long. That's over 3.5 hours of footage.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And it probably isn't 50% that gets cut out. Probably 60% is kept behind. But yeah, Bevs was about 40% was kept down.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And I
We
think
just
you
didn't know yet.
I think you got a lot better at cutting stuff as we went along, like cutting down bits that were irrelevant and keeping the bits that were irrelevant but still funny. That's something that...
We have a question from the Dungeons and Dipshits podcast. What does Tom's hair smell like?
This is for episode 2. Tom?
I use a coconut shampoo.
Let me get a...
I have allergies. My nose is blocked.
Oh, it smells like shit.
Okay, well, that's wrong.
Smells like dice.
I have a coconut shampoo and then I have a bamboo conditioner. So I'm mixed between coconut and bamboo. Thank you for your question. I have been given a few compliments on my hair in my time. Stroked many a time.
So, Butterfly, Caterpillar, Stone and Fire. Mulholland, lovely character. We love him dearly.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about him.
Tell us.
Tell us, Charlie.
Okay. Giants are very fun to roleplay, and specifically The lore of stone giants is that their reality is within the earth, like underground. Everything is solid, nothing really changes. That's their real world. And these landwalkers, dreamwalkers I think they're called, that go above land and see within their lifetime, which is pretty lengthened. The skies change every day, and the waters move back and forth and all that. It's impossible for them to sort of recognize as reality because it's just so flowing and different. So they go into this trance that they believe they're in a dream. And, reading that, I was like, that's got to be the funnest fucking thing to role play. So I had to have a stone giant in there. And yeah, Mulholland was an absolute delight to play.
He was a delight to know as well. I also really loved the, impress me kind of part of it, because it's, I don't know, for a lot of D&D it kind of boils down to, combat this thing. Yeah. But I liked impress me. I thought it was a very funny task.
I love skill-based or combat sort of puzzles where it, sort of makes the player think, oh, what kind of different thing can I do?
Yeah, because inherently when you're playing D&D, you can, a lot of the time, you just roll what your character does. And I think that gets pretty boring, especially when you're listening to it on a podcast. And so when you were like, show me something cool, I was like, well, I can do a couple cool things. What's the coolest thing I can do that would impress this giant? Because a giant's not going to be impressed by the fact that I can push people really far, because he can do that by flicking them. So how can I can jump and stay in the air.
I liked being able to just hide in plain sight. I had a good time hiding in plain sight.
You also like clinching.
Yeah, clinching. Clinching was the other thing.
That was pretty good.
I wasn't very convinced what my character was going to be like at the beginning, but once I knew I could clinch and hide in plain sight, I was sorted.
Yeah. See, I think it'd be very funny if, comparing this to see if what Bungo would do at the very end of the season, because I was just like, oh yeah, I'll shoot off fireball or something, the most visually interesting spell. I could turn into a gas. I just didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That definitely would have been impressive for Mulholland.
Thorfinn was so whiny and scared at that point.
Yeah. It's insane how Thorfinn at the start of the season went from such a little bastard, and then by the end of the season he was like, on God, give me crown.
Something we should say, spoilers. I'll put that at the front as well. Spoilers. Hi, this is spoilers, obviously.
Yeah, spoilers for winter.
Yeah. Shall we also talk about Carter?
Yes, we should. My personal favourite character, he cuts.
Oh no, Carter was my favourite. I was thinking about Felix for some reason, even though I was visually thinking of Carter.
Felix
Carter was funny. Yeah, I didn't like Felix because he was mean. We can talk about him too. Felix and Carter.
I love Felix. Yeah. I think Felix
is... dynamic duo that never met.
I think funny bits is when you can launch into fucking... you can be to a character, man, fuck this, and the character's like, yeah, fuck that, and then it's just there for them for the rest of their lives, because that's all that they know.
Yeah.
It was helpful to have him. My character had proficiency in land vehicles, and I didn't get to use it because Thorfinn was learning how to drive.
That was really fun as well.
That was also the fucking seed to the beginning of me trying to fucking light up people's eyes. Horse headlights is one of my favourite season quest strokes because it's so stupid.
So stupid.
And so on brand.
I think Carter's great because he is a character who did nothing except for complain about the fact that we were in his car. And yet by the end of it we were like, we miss him, where is he?
Did he show up at the end?
Yeah, he came and joined us in winter.
Yeah.
So episode 3, big battles and small secrets. We were on a boat.
We were on a boat.
I fucking love boats. My character was a sailor, so I was hoping we would sail.
Yeah.
Thorkell was
had to throw one in there for you.
He was a sailor. That was his whole thing.
And we found out Tom doesn't know that much about boats.
No, but I really do like them a lot.
I knew a little bit of boat stuff.
You knew that they're flammable.
Yeah, I
didn't know that.
I don't know what came over me. That was rough.
Chaos.
That was that our first proper combat encounter? Because we had tennis. We just skipped over tennis goblin entirely.
Yeah.
We had tennis goblin, which was great, and he was that was a really fun. That was a really fun combat encounter. And Lucy and I got to bond over the fact that we've both heard the Fallout.
The tunnel snakes, but we've never played Fallout.
Yeah.
Tunnel snake rule.
that was really fun fight. Back to boats. That was our first like proper fight where we actually like were. There was so much
strategizing.
Yeah, we had to think a lot about like what we were doing. I didn't. I was playing a barbarian. I went smack, 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 smack. Protect some.
It was also the episode that we found out Bungo was dumb on boats.
Yeah, I don't...
Nobody was great at seeing. And I had my secret phone call with Queen Baylor where she let me know that there was a secret weapon in the Giant Kingdom to retrieve.
Yeah, that was the important bit, and I think we should have talked about that more, but it's funny that we didn't.
It was also the introduction of the strongest item in Season Quest, the look stick.
Yeah, I did love that look stick.
That was a good look stick. Well, not to me.
Not to you. You looked through it backwards.
Yeah.
That sword is actually made an appearance in every single one of my campaigns.
Is it the
Really?
king's? Is that the king's
Yeah.
sword that we stole?
Yeah.
So we did a personal campaign last year. Me, Tom, and Charlie. Charlie was running it, and we stole a sword from the king. Was like one of our big objectives.
It was also the point where we recognized that Bungo has a little bit of winter power.
Yeah.
Which
That
we
was-
kind of ignored a little bit.
We kind of kept going back to it, being like, "This is weird."
Every couple of episodes it was like, where did you get that spell book from? I don't know.
Yeah.
Bachelor
Yeah.
pad days.
And then it happened.
That was another thing we didn't discuss. Did you have that planned before?
I planned to have a sort of you all guided by winter, and obviously the most magically inclined would be the one that is most not accepting but like receptive to winter's magic. So you were, when I was thinking up of what would happen, you were in my mind the champion of winter. Yeah.
Nice.
It's great. It also gave Bungo a lot more prowess and a lot more agency. Yeah, I just used 2 writing words. So I thought that was I think it was really funny because I think at the time the spellbook thing happened and we were like, but it was the start of the session when it got brought up, and we were like, oh well, we gotta stay too long on this one thing,
Yeah.
and so we ended up just skipping over it a little bit and then coming back to it later.
Yeah. I think also the big battles and little secrets, small secrets. That's also the first episode where we have stuff without everyone there, and we do it like occasionally.
It was the first time you guys left so that I could have my secret phone conversation.
I think secrets is a really fun thing to introduce into D&D because I have only once before doing Season Quest ever had like a secret between me and the DM, and it was the first time I ever played D&D. I wrote a note saying I'm gonna betray my party. I turned evil.
Secrets are fun.
That was it. Secrets are very fun.
I think the other fun thing about the secrets thing was me and Lucy both knew that we were going to hear it when the episode, because we both edit it, but we didn't know. Like, we didn't know until, like, next session or so.
We didn't know, not till next session, the session after. We didn't know until we were, like, in the box.
Yeah.
And even then, you didn't know what some of that stuff meant, because, like,
Yeah.
Queen Baylor and I were being vague about King Babarin's, the whole thing there. We were being vague on purpose.
She knew to be careful on call.
On the
On
Jimmy.
FaceTime. Jim was also really fun, because it was
contact
just a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also all had a water-based power, and I think that's very fun. Like, yours was...
I was a wind boy.
Yeah, you were a sailor.
I was able to breathe underwater, and I never got to use it, because I believe you got rid of the water.
I had control water.
Yeah.
That's right.
And obviously Thorfinn was a Triton.
Yes, of course.
The other thing we planned about Thorfinn was that he was half Triton, because I wanted him to be half Goliath.
That's true.
I wanted it to be that I had the ship crash, and that's why I didn't boat anymore, and I adventured instead, because I wanted to... I didn't want to crash.
I don't know if I knew that about the ship crash. I thought
No,
it was just
I don't think it ever
Didn't
came
come
up.
up, no.
Yeah.
Huh, cool.
That was because sometimes stuff just doesn't come up organically. Yeah.
So that's a quarter of the episodes. I do have a quick question from Emmy Inkwich. How did you decide what kind of branding and images you wanted for Season Quest?
So, it was...
That's funny to us because Emmy Inkwich actually designed the logos for winter, spring, summer, and autumn.
It was a back and forth in our messenger chat, I think it was. Charlie did our original designs of like the 4 trees in their seasons, and that's kind of like all we had. We just wanted something that kind of covered the 4 seasons, and that's kind of all the ideas we had. And then Charlie kind of made more visual designs.
And we
that
dropped
could base it
him.
on.
And then I got dropped.
And then we
by the
drop
agency.
kicked Charlie.
Yeah.
Got rid of him.
And Emmy really stepped up the game and just like made
Kicked
what we
my
wanted
ass.
look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Not
then
that yours didn't, Charlie. Just that
It
ours
wasn't
were way
good
better.
enough.
And
Yeah.
and the banners were also incredible because I don't think we didn't even ask for the banners. Emmy was just like, we just wanted to draw the banners for us, and they look fucking awesome.
I love the
the
banners so
beautiful
much.
landscape banners are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well,
Emmy
Yeah.
did a great job, and they had some additional edits and designs by Logan, and they've really we've got some outstanding imagery for the podcast.
Yeah.
Because like Troy messaged me at some point and he was like, "What's the kind of makeup of your homebrew world?" And I answered, and then like a day or two later, I got back.
So the next episode was I Can't Dinosaur County.
My
is-
first favorite episode in terms of funny. Like
This
that
is
was
also-
the first one that made me laugh out loud a lot.
This is the first episode where we decided that we weren't going to do blank and blank for every episode because the rest of them are blank and something and something.
Yeah, it wasn't my intention to do that, but I just wanted like for all the titles.
Oh, that's
Hey!
what you wanted, is it?
I wanted funny sounding things. Admittedly, the second one is butterfly, caterpillar, stone, and fire. So like that's something, 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 and something.
Yeah, but it is like this is still the first one where we get rid of the end. It's my favorite title, partially because it's really funny, partially because Charlie fucking hated it.
I still hate it.
Yeah.
The
So
fact Charlie went,
bad.
I don't want an episode based in my world to have such a stupid fucking title.
If I may as well, I only left in part of the tantrum.
We all remember it so vividly.
Cue from one of our earlier Instagram posts. From Jonathan Lake. Did one of the characters take a pet dinosaur? No.
No.
And it's tragic. We should have.
I think in that same episode, one of the dinosaurs almost took a pet Bungo, or at least that's what Bungo thought pterodactyls did, was take children back to their nests to make them
To
their
become a different
If
kid.
I may, this is absolutely a thing that I've seen happen in shows, although I couldn't name one, of like a big bird or a big like creature taking someone away, flying them up to their nest, and it becomes one of the children and lives with them.
Happens in Ice Age.
Yeah.
Ice Age.
Ice Age.
I should have known. Ice Age. Definitive fact.
Oh, you're one of the Ice Age obsessed. How dare you?
I think that was fun because I've never fought a dinosaur before, but I've always wanted to.
That was a fun battle, because like Thorkell was jumping up on top of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I was trying to launch arrows into it. You was casting spells, Bungo. Like, it was
I
good.
got
do some Shadow the Colossus shit.
I got very hurt at the end. I was like, oh, fuck it. And I pulled out one of my biggest spells, which was exciting.
That was also.
Or maybe it was my lightning wand.
Was that when we
Very
lost
fun.
our dagger?
Yeah, it was.
That was,
That's what I want to know. Did you plan that while we were doing our watches, somebody was going to steal our dagger? Like, well, Bungo's dagger? Like, was that part of your plan?
You were being followed by the Dagger Gang since your first encounter with them, and they were waiting for an opportunity to steal from you. So on an unsuccessful watch, that's when they would have come in and grabbed some daggers.
More like waiting on us because they didn't have a boat and were swimming behind us.
Well, you saw, I believe it was you who saw a light on the water.
Yeah, I did.
That was their boat.
It's a submarine.
With Boater.
Yeah, it was... Fuck.
Oh, none of us could also
That's
see that
scared.
episode.
Yeah, we're not very good at many things.
It's also, I believe, the episode where I clenched on a volcano and almost broke through the volcanic crust.
That's at the very end, I believe.
And I just levitated everyone all the way through. Oh, and the nudist
nudists.
salamander.
Nudists.
I love the nudists.
They were fun.
They're very fun.
What was
It's a
their
shame we didn't see
voices?
them again.
They were
Canadian.
like Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got up to the giant city for episode 5, Big City, A Little Trouble.
Caligo.
Caligo, or Flamingo as we affectionately referred to it.
No, that's an elven city.
Yeah, another question from Jonathan is, what was your favourite part of the giant city? Was there anything we didn't get to?
Go.
There was a chance for you guys to get to or pass Vinslaver's castle,
Ooh.
but you took
The pussy's route.
The stealthy under the buildings route.
yeah, and Brer's help as well, which
Yeah.
kind of helped you get right to the box.
Were you
Yeah.
expecting us to take Brer's help?
I had prepared for either option.
Yeah.
If you wanted his help, if you accepted him, or if you said no, because you never know. with players if they say yes or no.
I don't know.
You've got...
As soon as you said "let's be friends" to Lucy's character, it was clear that that's what we were going with.
Yeah. You must have fucking loved how pliable Bungo was.
That was very helpful for what Brer had planned.
And then Bungo got their confidence at the end.
If I may, that's not the first time Charlie's tricked me into helping a prisoner escape in D&D.
And
I should clarify.
And it won't be the last.
It's you love the power complex, I guess. I don't know. It's very funny.
I loved the Three Stooges.
Yeah, the Three
They were funny.
Stooges.
Did you plan on them being Three Stooges when you wrote them, or did you?
Yeah, because I named them.
Did
like
you?
Lars, Kurt, and Mop.
Ah.
Larry, Curly, and Mo.
If I may, there's a great moment where Troy's like, "Oh, now I feel silly because this is a Three Stooges and I didn't get it till now." And
It was
Tom said that. Tom said that, and I was like, and I didn't get that until Tom said it because I've never seen the Three Stooges and I still don't plan to.
That episode also has my least favorite use of a spell, and that was Bungo making Thorkell's teeth shine grey light so that we could be more stealthy while travelling under the buildings.
How dare you? It's genius.
Yeah.
Jumping back to me being a gas for a second from the previous episode.
Jumping back to when we weren't talking about you being a gas.
We were talking about me being a gas for a moment when I escaped the big bird. What's the word I'm looking for? Dinosaur.
Pterodactyl?
Pterodactyl. Like what I said, but specific. Why were you guys mean to me and keep putting me in a water skin?
Funny.
Because you were slow. You were slow as a gas, and you were going to hinder our journey, so it would have been easier for us to carry you because you had like a super slow 10-foot
10
speed.
foot a turn, yeah.
Funny.
Mean.
You're not the only person we've offered to put in a bottle. We did that later on, too.
Yeah, and I felt bad for him, and he
Yeah.
hated it too.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brer was an interesting character. Tell us more about him.
Brer is one of my favorite kinds of characters to roleplay. Sort of trickster archetype, hence his name Brer, like Brer Rabbit, who is a trickster. Yeah, he's like the thing about playing those sorts of characters is you as a DM get to just be coy about things that make players so nervous, and you don't even know what you're up to yet. You can just be like, why don't you be friends with me? And they'll all be nervous, and you don't know what you're talking about, and they agree, and then you're like, sweet, now I can make something out of that.
Right? That threw me
that.
so much because you set up that little mission of helping Brer escape from the confines of the curse from Vinslava by us retrieving the sword, but there was like the whole convoluted like, wait, if we get the sword, we go get the sword, then we've got to come back, free Brer so that Vinslava, but we could just leave. Like, I was so confused in the episode. I'm still not 100% sure, like...
What would have happened if we'd, like, fully freed Brer? Was he going to be worse than Vinslava?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he would have been the next big villain.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
For season 3.
Thrive.
And then we got to the box with Welcome to the Box, Mother Frosters.
Which I believe we argued about the title of that episode within the episode.
We argued about it in the episode, and then we argued about it on Messenger for quite a while.
Because Charlie really wanted it to just be motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I really wanted it to be motherfuckers as well.
But we couldn't do it without.
We weren't sure if we would get away with it on certain podcast platforms.
We were far too new for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think now we would probably name an episode with the fuck in the title.
With the fuck word, yeah.
With the fuck word in the title. Because we say fuck a lot.
It's, just on the note of swearing. So, as it's been mentioned many a times, my mum listens to this podcast. And me and my mum were visiting my grandparents, and she was like, can I please play a bit of the podcast for them? And I was like, absolutely not. And she's like, cool, I'm going to do it anyway. And she did, and I think it was like one of the first episodes of Spring, where like one of the first things I say, I was like, oh, fuck you, Tom. And then Tom's like, oh, like, don't be so fucking stupid. Then I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up, you cunt. It's just like immediate. And my mum's like, I'm just going to stop that. No more of that.
Funny.
Ooh.
We're a bit potty mouthed.
I think also
We're not great.
another funny thing is before we started, just on the subject of swearing, before we started, we were like, we want to keep swearing to a minimum. We don't want to swear too much. We want to make sure that we can have as many people listen as possible. And then the moment we got in, we were like, fuck you, fuck this, fucking shit, cunt. Which is mainly due to our aggression.
I leave in like...
Our. This is in quotes. Air quotes.
I leave in pretty much all of the swearing, but I take out a lot of like the vulgarity. Like,
Because Troy sees a lot of really disgusting
I'm
things.
just really homophobic. My boyfriend is too.
A lot of the cum jokes don't make it.
almost none of them.
Yeah, sadly sadly Lucy cut every single instance of Charlie saying he was going to come in me, which happened like 9 times a recording
To be
session,
fair,
probably.
we did manage to get in there that Bungo fucks, that Thorkell really fucks, and that Margarita didn't fuck and was a virgin.
Bungo fucks harder than Thorkell.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
canon. Just
Yeah.
I mean, we're not up to that episode yet, but we do want to get it out there in the Q&A.
But with swearing
Bungo
and Lucy,
fucks.
Bungo fucks.
Yeah.
How far in advance did you plan that the majority of your winter campaign with freeing the sword was going to take place within a refrigerator? And was it inspired by a refrigerator?
That's a good question, Troy. That was...
Thanks, Charlie.
That was...
Back to you, Troy.
That was my first thought about the campaign. I was like, winter. Okay, what can I do?
Christmas? No, wait.
No.
Southern Hemisphere?
Southern Hemisphere. I want to put them in a giant refrigerator and just have them, like, not even know it, but just climb up the different levels and then get to somewhere. So that was what I based my entire thing on, is just a dumb joke about you guys going through a refrigerator.
Was it upsetting for you when we clicked that it was a refrigerator and we referred to it as, like, the refrigerator for the rest of the campaign?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I love that.
We also met the Vegemites, which were cool little creatures that we just kept coming, and they won't stop coming.
What?
Jumping back a moment, we got the Schnoblins as well.
Yeah.
The Yeti. I was excited about the Yeti.
Yeah, I had a question about that.
Yeah.
What were you going to do if I died, or if my son died? Like, what was your plan for that? Because I almost died in that. What would you have just given me another character and Thorkell would have just been there, or?
Oh yeah, you almost died from Yeti piss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that,
And Thorkell went on death saves.
yeah, I am
Often.
fully open to characters just dying.
Yeah.
I would not have pulled any punches or anything like that.
I mean more in regard to like
Plot.
Plot.
Especially for Thorfinn.
Especially for Thorfinn. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's reincarnation is pretty canon in my world. So like maybe his spirit would have moved on to a different person or something like that.
Moved on to Bungo and I had to get a new character.
That's not how reincarnation works.
Huh?
So basically what you're saying is
I
fuck
would-
around and find out.
Fuck around and find out. I would have worked with you to sort of build a reincarnated, possibly,
Yeah.
god.
Cool.
It's the Schnoblins. What was our lovely Schnoblin friend called?
Scarred.
Scar.
Of the cold callers.
Yes,
I
cold
love-
callers.
I'm a huge Goblin fan, so when Charlie put it in, I immediately treated him better than my son out of reflex.
You did.
I love goblins too.
It's just the best.
Lucy was my dad.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, we
That was
had
good.
some cute father-son bonding moments. My character didn't have a gender, but it was father-son bonding moments.
Yeah, I did. Before we started, I messaged Charlie and said my one plan for the Thorkell and Thorfinn Thorkell and Thorfinn plan was that Thorkell wanted to save Winter so that Thorfinn could make a snowman, and then when we got to do it, it was really nice. And then you guys just were like, "Better snowman get fucked," and I was like, "Yeah, good."
Yeah.
I also accidentally stole that because I think I must have heard you say it at some point, and I said it like for why I wanted to save Winter. I said I just wanted to see the snow or something. And you were like, "No, that's my whole storyline."
That's my bit.
Oh yeah, you guys were like personal reasons, and I was like, it's just the right thing to do.
We
And that
all
was really
groaned.
Bungo.
We
yeah.
will notice a theme with
Yeah.
Lucy's characters that they are all far too nice for their own
If
good.
not a spoiler, but a sneak preview for Autumn, I am not going to be a nice character. I don't think I'm going to be a
Ooh.
mean character, but nice is not my main trait.
I'm go-
I also don't
we'll
think
see.
Aurelia is my
I'm gonna-
nice character.
I'm going to enforce that, Lucy. I'm not going to let you be nice. Anytime you do anything nice, I'll say, Lucy.
No, that's not. No, I'm not a mean character. I'm just like I'm not middling.
Lucy, what would a mean thing you do right now? How would you bully this person?
I've been putting bottle caps in your pocket.
I'm fucking sick of that.
So I was wearing a shirt with a pocket on the front, and Charlie and I have been putting bottle caps in it. And by we, I just keep going to do it and not being able to, so I just keep passing Charlie bottle caps.
And I am succeeding
Yeah.
every time.
I'm not fucking paying attention to you because I hate you. The worst friend.
We also received a question from JULES DANIEL, who's on the Fate podcast. What were some of the unexpected difficulties you guys found in making this podcast?
We did a pilot before we started recording Winter. Charlie did kind of a wee one-shot of the three of our characters, not these characters, but like three other characters we played, like doing something.
And this was an unaired pilot. We haven't released this episode.
Yeah, no, it never came out or anything. It's not edited or anything. I edited for about 15 minutes just so I could figure out all the issues. And so that was kind of figuring out all the main technical problems. One of the things I figured out very quickly is we can't be trusted with swivelly chairs. We're too loud, and by we I mean me and Tom. My character was very boring, so I changed her because it was kind of based on what my character was going to be for summer.
And we all ended up having a TPK, I believe.
I'm the only one that lived, yeah. We also found out we're very stupid. Well, not found out, but, rediscovered.
Once we hit 5,000 downloads, we'll upload it.
Our unaired pilot.
It's not good.
Yeah. Another technical issue, which is just unhelpable, is all of our background noise. Because we record in our apartment, and the people upstairs are loud, and the people will come in and out of their doors, and we don't tell them that we're recording, so it's not like they know. It's just... It's
the kind of thing where it's being so new and not having any designated space. We just kind of have our living room, and we don't have many options. Like, we used Troy's place once.
Which wasn't ideal.
It wasn't ideal. It was way louder, and it was when...
Was that winter or spring?
That was spring.
It was one of the second session of spring.
Yeah, we had construction going on outside, and there were people home from work, so it was just not ideal.
Yeah. But yeah, if we had to record because otherwise we wouldn't have enough footage, and our other flatmate was working from home at the time, and he does tech support and phone calls, so you would just hear chattering in the background, which I think is kind of worse than miscellaneous
construction noises that we
It's just
played
not
off
quite as
as
distracting, yeah.
thunderstorms.
Something we've actually had to learn how to do is podcast etiquette sort of, and we're not even the best at it now. We talk over each other a lot still.
All the time.
Trying to figure out when we can roll dice without it being distracting.
We talk over each other sometimes.
We have some people have 3 drinks on the table. Just glass.
That's not mine.
That's the one you took a sip of and put down just a moment earlier, Charlie.
That is mine.
It is
You're
yours,
losing your fucking mind,
you
dude.
insane man. We also peak a lot when we yell, Charlie.
It's because
or when I laugh, Lucy.
Whenever we laugh, we always peak because we fucking lose it when we laugh at something.
Yeah.
Which is,
and we're a giggly bunch.
Which is fine. I can make that sound less. But there are points where Charlie will be normally speaking, or I will be normally speaking, which is why I sat at the end of the table when I was Thorkell, because I was yelling all the time. But when Charlie's DMing, he's quiet as fuck. And then when he's playing, he's shouting consistently. And we were playing. We just did a session, and Lucy was like, "You sit here," and Charlie sit here, and I was like, "I don't know. Charlie's gonna be louder than me," and Lucy was like, "You're wrong," and then Charlie was much louder than me the whole time.
It's because Charlie, do your voice that you're doing for your character again for summer. Spoiler: this is Charlie's voice for summer.
This is my voice for summer.
So you see why that's louder than I expected.
It's also mainly because Charlie was shouting because he hadn't recorded it.
This is the only. It's Charlie's like a puppy who doesn't get to see many other dogs.
And I enjoyed the box. I enjoyed the Vegemite. I enjoyed the Snoblins. We had some great character interactions. We really kind of got in there, got up there, and started doing stuff. It was great.
Next up is my second favorite episode title.
She can't wizard spelling.
Yeah, that was a direct quote from you, wasn't it, Tom?
Yeah. Because I was making fun of Lucy really hard.
Yeah.
Cyan, actually, my girlfriend, my super hot girlfriend who I have, because I might be a D&D player, but yes, I also have a girlfriend, whatever, no biggie. Anyways, she said...
She goes to a different podcast, you don't know her.
She listens to the podcast, and every single episode she messaged me and said, "You guys are so mean to Lucy."
And also, if I may... I cut out over half of the really mean stuff. These guys fucking dig into me. It's unkind.
It's nothing personal.
What else is it? It's most certainly not professional.
No, it's just...
It's nothing
I
personal.
don't have anything, Lucy.
Yeah.
Nothing usable for the podcast.
No.
Nothing personal, kid.
And then we fought the Vegemites, and we got into the castle, and we did one of my favourite things to do in D&D. Split up. Let's split up, gang.
We're just going over. We can't we can't spell.
I mean, was there anything else you wanted to say about
I
that?
can't remember what happened in that episode.
So that was when we got to the cold callers.
Got to the cold callers. Went to the castle, fought the Vegemites. We fight the Vegemites, and then we split up at the end of that episode.
Yeah, and then at the very end we split up.
I do want to say something about that, because for some reason in my head, at some point, I'd forgotten what our goal was. Not because of any reason other than I'm stupid while we were recording. And for some reason, I thought the castle was the end. And I was like, I think at the end of the session, I said to Charlie, is that it? Are you done? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, that's right. We have to say
really
winter.
panicked for some reason.
I was really worried about it. And I don't know why. And I think it was just because of the fact that I was very tired. I think when we recorded that, I was actually in a really, I was losing my mind.
Admittedly, that was a constant theme for winter. Me and Tom losing our mind.
That Let's Split Up gang and She Can't Wizard Spelly, like, we just past the halfway point of the campaign.
Yeah.
But it felt like we were ramping up towards an ending. We were like so excited about this epic conclusion we were heading for. But we still had like another third of the campaign to go.
Troy, what did you do? What did you say to Charlie just before the 6th episode came out? Or just before we started the session for the 6th episode? You were in town with him. I can tell the story if you can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
We went to a party together and we were in town. It was 1 a.m. We had recording at 10 a.m. the next day for episode 6 or 7 of Season Quest.
All 4 of us had gone out. Me and Tom had gone home because we were responsible motherfuckers.
Yep, and Charlie and I were still dancing in a club, and I asked him if we had big plans for our mid-season finale.
Yeah, baby.
And you said no.
And then you told him,
it's our mid-season finale. Everything's been pretty easy. We've been coasting so far. I think it's time for you to fuck us up and really damage us.
And then Thorkell and Thorfinn almost died.
Yeah. To be fair, I almost killed Thorfinn.
With Let's Split Up Gang, I already love splitting up in D&D. I think my favourite thing about it is it's all of the characters doing what they would want to do, and you find out so much more about characters that way. I got very stupid, and I did something very stupid. I'm not good at improv. So I was Bingo.
Oh, yes.
Was it Bingo?
Bongo?
It was Bongo, you're right, it's Bongo. And even though it was very stupid, I was very pleased with it, and I got health potions.
You did get health potions. That was Gordo,
Gordo,
imagine he was a gourd.
It was a gourd construct.
I liked him.
Yeah.
I also liked the fact that you sent your snake in to do reconnaissance, and it went
the
snake tongue.
Detect things with its tongue.
And then we had fucking just Thorfinn and Thorkell having a conversation
about puberty or something.
Okay, if I may, that's not what ended up in the episode. You guys
Did the puberty talk not happen?
I think some of the puberty talk
only a little bit, but you guys went on for about 20 minutes
true.
about dick size.
Yeah.
And I cut out all of it.
Yeah.
Thorkell canonically has a schlong.
Yeah.
A big schlong.
Something that happens a lot when we record, and I think it's kind of a difficult thing because I'm not 100% sure what's going to stay and what won't. There are times when we're recording when I say something's going to stay in, and then I listen back and I go, absolutely fucking not.
Mm-hmm. And then the opposite as well, I'm sure.
The opposite as well, but it means we don't have an incredibly accurate recount of what happened in our heads. Like, there are times where we keep bringing up jokes that never went in.
Yeah.
Like, the first time we talk about my mom, it didn't go in because, there was just, background noise happening. And that none of us had realised. But, we kept referencing it, and I couldn't bring it up until, there was something quite relevant to tie into it. So it's,
Wobbles.
Which is an annoying thing, but what can you do?
I think the funniest part about the fact that we had a puberty talk, you had your own silly thing, and then immediately afterwards, it was undercut with the most dramatic thing.
Oh, yes,
That ruled.
Me and the soldier from the same squadron that I've been in.
Zed.
And this is where we actually did the big reveal that I was kind of a traitor, and Lucy and Tom's characters had no idea, and Lucy and Tom were sitting in the room listening to this conversation unfold.
And at that point, me and Tom didn't know either.
Yeah,
No.
we hadn't got to that episode in the edit yet.
No, you guys hadn't even edited the small battles, big battles, small secrets.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
very
so you
fun.
had no idea.
At the beginning of winter, before we all got very busy, and by we all, I mean Charlie got very busy, we were more ahead on recordings.
We were recording once a week, and then Charlie decided to go ahead and work on a fucking big
Feature film.
And to work 70 or 80 hours a week.
Fucking cunt.
Well,
Sorry.
Make some money.
I'm spending literally my only free time doing this podcast. You're welcome.
But yeah, we did get some cool backstory for me, Queen Baylor, and this person. And then I got to do the really cool thing of like, if Tom and Lucy both thought I was going to kill this prisoner, and instead I left them an arrow and just walked away, which I thought was the most
so
badass move that I could pull.
Do the voice, do the line, say the line.
What line?
What?
Say him saying the name at the end.
Margo, Rita.
Yeah.
Right? Zed.
We got to name him after him.
Yeah,
Bit of
that's what I was
context to
about to
that
say.
session. The previous night to that session, Charlie and I had watched every single zombies movie.
Both.
Both zombies movies.
The
Two zombies movies. And
By Disney, the musical Zombies.
And we just thought they were so fucking terrible and really funny. So we tried to incorporate it in the episode. And Lucy fucking hated it.
Yeah, I watched like bits and pieces of the first one. Like I saw maybe 30 minutes of it in total, but I would just keep leaving. And I saw 90 seconds of the second one.
It was the most thinly veiled segregation story I've ever seen.
And at the end, it's all sold by a white person who takes off their wig and reveals the whole time that they had white hair.
White savior.
Yeah.
Funky hero.
But me and Charlie fucking loved it. We thought it was so funny. And Lucy, there's this theme that we've got with Lucy now, where Lucy will say, this bit can never go in, and we will force it in because it has to go in, like a Z. And then later on in spring, there's the Grant stuff, because Lucy did not want a character called Grant, and I went, no, there's a character called Grant at some point. I'm making that happen.
Good grief.
We can't be stopped.
We cannot be stopped. We are evil.
But yeah, splitting up was a great episode for us, just because
Really
we
good
got
episode.
to do some crazy things alone and further our own backstories and current stories.
And then we fought the hag.
Yeah.
Hags.
What a
I love
bitch.
hags. Hags are such an incredible staple of D&D, and it's always a fun thing to play.
Yeah.
Especially with their...
She had a powerful staff and evil employees or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like both her staffs were evil. It was so good.
Just thinking about that, my favourite part of Thorkell, he's probably my favourite character I've played in Season Quest in terms of his abilities, because of his, because I had the rune thing, which is like an unearthed arcana thing. And it meant that I could do shit that like was really fun for a barbarian, because I multi-class. And I was like, I'm going to walk around this, like walk around the outside. I can jump really high and shit like that. Like all of that was really like, when I was playing Thorkell, he felt like he had those powers. Like it kind of felt like I was doing that with the powers, instead of a lot of the time when I fight wizards with spells, it's like, oh, I can do this. With Thorkell, it was like, I can do that. That's my thing. And so when we got to the thing and it was like, oh, the door's shut, I was like, I'm gonna walk around the back and sneak up on it with carrying Bungo.
That's also an important part of D&D, and one of the greatest feelings as a DM is when players talk about situations and past sessions as if they happened. Like that is the most gratifying thing a DM can hear. It's not like, oh, remember when we were like playing this part and then Charlie had us do this. It's remember when we were in the castle and I went around. Yeah. It's like that's...
Me going around isn't that exciting.
No.
I just thought about the fact.
Yeah.
Because I got to do a lot of cool Thorkell
Because like
shit.
Bungo was like paralyzed inside there pretending to be Bingo. They'd
so
covered themselves in vegetable matter and then... No, you walked in there and just introduced yourself as Bungo, didn't you? Like you disguised yourself.
I kept going with Bongo. I stuck with Bongo, and it was a great idea, and I'm so horrified it didn't work.
I think, and the other really fun part about that was like locking off the party and us being like, oh shit, like we're gonna have to split up, and then immediately being like, oh, we have a solution. This is the solution, and we can fix it. Like, because it's almost like catching the monster off guard as well as catching Charlie off guard a little bit.
I love
because Charlie doesn't think we're smart.
Charlie and I do things in quite opposite ways when it comes to some characters. You make yours a lot smarter. I make mine very dumb. I, like, in the sense of, like, enemies and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, they'll go with whatever lie you're telling them. Like, I'll let you lie to them and it'll be fine. And you're like, they know you're a wizard and they're gonna kill you. And I'm just like, okay. I don't know why I never expect that from you. You've been DMing for me for, like, 2 years. You lie to me constantly, in character.
Oh, and then the fucking brutalization of the hag. Thanks, Margo. Just murking the hag.
Yeah, I like destroyed that, didn't I? I took her tooth. I forgot about my necklace of teeth.
Yeah.
And
It
then
was creepy.
I felt that after we recorded because I broke the staff instantly, and then you were like, "Couldn't Bungo have used that?" And I was like, "Yeah, that might have been what Charlie was trying to do." Anyways,
Yeah,
Was
the
that something you were
winter
trying to do?
stuff.
It was an opportunity for you to get a new magic item, but
What's the magic item?
well, it's a staff of winter.
Ah.
Isn't that why the castle started like shattering and destroying itself? Was because the staff and the hag had been destroyed. That's why we had to run the heck out of there.
I just jumped out the window because again, Thorkell couldn't take full damage. Dope as fuck.
And the next thing that happened was Thorfinn's big day, episode
Woo!
9.
My favorite episode.
He turned what, 13?
13.
Yeah.
Because
A man now.
I'm not sure if it's me or us as a collective or just society, but 12 is the number for children in my mind. When I think about what a kid is, they're always 12. My latest character in Summer is a 12-year-old. He's a kid. Thorfinn was a 12-year-old. He's a kid. Turned 13, big grown-up. Ruth
She was 13. She's
big
a
grown-up.
12.
How did you feel? Because that episode, you had to transition Thorfinn from having whiny child voice into going through puberty, and he was a man now.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Because it was both the physical change of his voice, but also the change of his attitude, and where he was starting to go against his dad and become his own person. So I think both of those worked pretty well together.
Oh, and small cows.
That's what I was going to say. Something we missed from the previous episode, or that episode.
That was this episode, I'm pretty sure, because it was when we went up to
Before we went to sleep, right? We had small cows.
Yeah. So a video we haven't released yet, because I keep forgetting it exists and I haven't edited it. It was us making small cows.
Oh, is that not out yet?
No, I keep forgetting to release it.
Celery,
to release it,
avocado, cauliflower, and I want to say, I actually kind of liked it. Aside from the celery, I think avocado and cauliflower was such a good mix, but then the celery made it so wet.
You did make it extremely oily.
It was incredibly oily.
That was mainly because of a guide that I was following online. But then I had to I didn't want them to take like fucking 40 minutes to cook them, so I just made them at a higher heat and pulled them out earlier, which is never a good idea when you're cooking. But
no,
that episode we found out that Thorfinn got taken away, like that. Thorfinn was missing on his birthday. We made gifts. We spent ages doing it with Scar and planning it all.
Gifts was so cute.
It was.
Yeah, that was very cute.
And then he was gone.
And then you all got the same roll on your
Yeah, we all
perceptions.
got like a 7 or something.
Yeah.
Shit.
When because I made like that axe for Thorfinn. You made the
I made a map of everywhere we'd been.
and you etched his name in a bullet.
No, I gave him my crossbow and I carved his name into the side of it.
And so that was fucking awesome. I loved that. And I think it's really fun when you're playing D&D. You get that character turn in real, like as it's happening. Like when we got to that point, is that next episode or this episode that it happens?
Which one?
Where we find out at the end of the. Like, all of the Quincy shit happens. Does that all just happen in Thorfinn's Big Day?
So Thorfinn's Big Day starts with us making the presents, then he gets kidnapped, then we go to Quincy's.
Is the end of Quincy's in there is what I'm asking? With the reveal where I guess...
Yes.
Okay.
I don't remember this episode, I'm going to be honest.
Because you were on drugs.
In this episode, my character was on drugs. I don't remember what we called the drugs. It had a couple of different names that changed, I think.
I think it was Shine, wasn't it? Or... Sprinkles. It was
Sprinkles was the one I ended up on, but I think there was another character who offered a different type of drugs in the episode as well.
But I got to have that in real time moment where I was like, Thorkell's fucking angry, he's pissed off, he's gonna beat the shit out of this dude. And then Thorfinn was just like, Dad, I fucking hate you. And I was like... and I was so taken aback that I think in the episode there's a point where I go like, what? And like my voice cracked, and that's because like that was real. I was really confused. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, you were, because like we also had that run of like, what spell is he on? Like what thing have you done to him? This has to be you. Like what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
It was very.
And Thorfinn's just sitting there like, I left. This is me.
It was
crazy.
Yeah.
And Bungo got to be my support network, and that was when we really fleshed out the Bungo and Thorkell super good friendship. Had been friends for literally years.
And had a bachelor pad.
I think that's maybe my favourite bit of like backstory for a character is that we lived together. I think that was so funny because
And it's not fantasy.
it's not fantasy. We still live together.
That sucks.
One of my favorite, like, small dumb gags from that episode is the various bouncers / clipboard creatures that are at each door getting progressively smaller.
Just kept pushing them aside.
So good.
I just spider climbed through the entire
did.
thing. I was just like, I'm not gonna bother.
I loved the orc who was like, like when we met him, he was like super intimidating, and then we were just like, he was like, no.
This was also the beginning of Bungo getting mean.
Yeah,
that
it was
Trying to
Bungo.
intimidate people.
It was when, like, the two bouncers and I cast Wall of Fire and then, like, because they weren't giving us what I wanted, I was like, well, okay, bam.
And then one of them was just like, ah, and the other one's like, I'm fine.
Immune to fire.
Yeah.
Don't care.
But that was good.
Yeah, I think that's. If I said any other episode was my favorite episode, I'm lying, because that was definitely my favorite episode to record. That was a really fun episode to do.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Thorfinn is my favorite NPC because he is my son.
Nice. We have a question from Ryan, which we've heard before during a charity live stream, but it is, why is there no C's in Season Quest? The letter C.
C's unreal.
Yeah, there's no C's in Quest.
There's a C in Lucy.
There was a
there's
King's Lake in Spring. Was it a sea that we crossed in?
Yeah.
We did cross the sea.
We did cross the sea on a boat.
There was
Yeah,
also a
yes,
sun.
we were on the sea. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a C, there was a sun,
Shanty,
and there was a
begins with
quest.
C.
Sea, sun, quest. Excellent.
So jumping on to the next episode, we had Bevs, Bevs, and Beefy Boys. Maybe my favourite title for an episode.
Yeah.
This was also the most, like I said at the very beginning, but this was the most fuck around episode we did.
Oh, yeah.
This was a 3.5 or so hour session that cut down to 75 minutes.
I
Yeah.
think we spent 40 minutes deciding whether or not we were getting off the train.
There was about 15...
Yeah, that was frustrating.
It was a genuine 15 minutes of, are we going to go into this bar or not?
Like a saloon bar, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Although we met a lot of very fun characters.
There was the moment when we were doing when we had the job interview, which I think that bit went on for like almost like fucking half an hour, if not longer.
Yeah.
It was just me having a job interview with Bev, and then at the end going, oh, I can't do this. Bye.
Yeah. And you convinced, like, Scard was going to try and take over the job, but his dad, the Chief Snoblin, would die before then. It was a whole
and we
thing.
had the milk boy. What was his name?
The milk
cow.
boy.
Oh, yeah. Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Oh, the furbog. When you said the cow, I was so confused.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
I liked the Wisconsin. He was funny.
You introduced a bunch of NPCs in that episode, like Barthless, Stink Pits, and Whiff.
Yep.
Whiff was my favourite. I love Whiff. Oh my goodness.
The elf was cool.
The fucking elf dragon.
Yeah.
I was so excited. You did so many things, Charlie, that I was like, oh, I've always wanted to do this in D&D. Like, straight up when you turned into a dragon, I nearly cried.
That was
in the
awesome.
finale. I've always wanted to meet a dragon in D&D.
So that dragon was part of a long line of silver dragons that I have in my canon. The first one's name was like Foamwell. So then beyond that, they all have those sort of. The first one is like a sort of frothy foam part of their name. The second one is a synonym for good.
Yeah.
What did I... Barmstrong? Was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Barmstrong, Barm is a foam and strong as well. So he's part of the history of my world of a long line of silver dragons that are always just trying to help out the biggest problem that's going on in the world.
Yeah. I remember us having that conversation about what you had named them, and I said, so Puff Nice? And you went, no. And I was like, why could there not be Puff Nice?
I loved Whiff. I think Whiff was really cool because it also I love fucking spirits in D&D. I love having sex with spirits. No, I love spirits
That's
in D&D.
spirit.
Spirits in D&D are really cool because they're always like, very elemental. And then that one was so specific to
Like
your
deal.
skills
my
and
deal,
all,
yeah, and I could be like, here, I can relate to you in a way.
That was the second character we tried to force into a water skin.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he was not king.
No.
Yeah, I was so excited to meet another gentle character. But I hadn't met any gentle characters at that point. Like, Mahan's a little bit gentle sometimes.
Yeah, but he also loves fighting.
Yeah.
The issue with Barmstrong, the issue with Barmstrong, the issue with Barmstrong was that he, because of Brer, we were suspicious of him from the start because he talked fancy.
Yeah.
And therefore he was evil.
I was never suspicious of him. I was like, oh, he's going to be important, but I didn't think anything bad.
You're suspicious. You're not suspicious of anyone. Though.
That's a good point.
You are terribly irresponsible with that.
And then we fought the Beefy Boys.
Yeah, the Beefy Boys. Train battle. Like,
Train battle was
yes.
fun.
We love a train battle.
People were
Went
injured.
so poorly for us.
Yeah, I nearly died.
You ran out of arrows.
Yep.
I nearly died. You nearly died.
And at one point, I don't remember if it was in the episode or not. Troy and Charlie left have a conversation.
Yeah, we did.
What was the gist of that conversation? Me and Tom didn't hear a fucking word of it.
No, you go ahead.
Troy pulled me aside because at this point he had always wanted to have a moment where he could betray the party. He thought this might be my moment where I leave.
Yeah,
And just jump off the train. Yeah, I just kind of said like you need to, because his main goal was to get the sword, clemency. I reminded him that you kind of need these guys
to help me do it.
Yeah.
We'd all received those magical items at the beginning, and I believe you'd both been using yours, and I had my serpentine JL, and I hadn't used it yet, and I was like, oh, now is the perfect time. On the train, you guys are fighting and losing. I could fly away right now. It would be big, dramatic, and crazy. But we decided to hold off. Let's finish this quest together so I could betray you at the end.
At this point, we've met almost all of the NPCs. A question that Troy asked on our Instagram was, who was our favourite winter NPC?
Cyan also asked the same question, and she also asked us to do an impression of our favourite one.
Oh, my favourite was Carter. Like, I've said that from the beginning. I've always loved Carter.
Give us a Carter impression.
Could you do a quick one?
I'm Carter and I card.
I'm Carter and I card. I don't do anything else. I just card.
My favourite was Thorfinn, obviously, but I feel like that's cheating if I say Thorfinn.
That's not
No,
cheating.
go on. Do a whiny and puberty Thorfinn voice.
Give us
Give us
pre-puberty.
My second favourite was Scarred, by the way, but I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not in the.
Give us a scar.
I'll do both.
Okay, Dad.
Okay, Dad, I'm a kid and I can't do anything right. And then it was, okay, Dad, I'm a cooler kid and I have an axe and I'm gonna win the game. And then
You really started losing it towards the end there, didn't you?
and then Scarred, do Scarred.
I'm scared.
I am Scarred. Hello, I like Goblin.
That's pretty good.
I really liked both Bramstrong and
Armstrong?
Barmstrong. I'm sorry, Barmstrong and Whiffed. I think they were my two favourites. Give me some things.
I'm with.
I'm Whiffed.
Yeah. With no T.
I'm Whiff.
And then Bombstrong is
Barmstrong
he's
talks like this.
my
and
fancy voice.
And I'm fancy voice if I were Charlie and fancy voice. I don't know.
Yeah, those were our favourite winter NPCs.
Yeah. And then we had our
Thank you for the
penultimate
question,
episode. Naps, traps, and perhaps mishaps. A name I was very fond of.
Right,
I
some good
love-
rhymes there.
Yeah.
I loved doing this episode.
This episode, if I may,
Yeah.
was the one where I heard the most insane
Oh,
string of nonsense that I've ever heard.
No, I can. Okay, finally we're into a point where I can
grapes
dig
and
into
shit.
this.
Fuck off.
Okay.
Oh no, this is the Lucy thing.
No, it's not. I don't know what you guys keep losing your minds at. Because it's just an analogy. Like,
A
that's all it
terrible
is.
one.
It's not that terrible. Here's why. Because there was an original argument, and I was like, cool, this is how we see, like, the two sides of the same coin.
Was it that a hallway is or isn't a room?
Yes.
Was that
Yes,
the
that's the
original
argument.
argument?
So it was Charlie thinking it wasn't, and me thinking it was.
Yeah.
And my reason for the grapes versus broccoli thing was for grapes, you just eat the grapes bit, not the stem, correct?
Correct. This
So
isn't
you-
going to change.
No, it will. So the grapes, the bit you enjoy, that's the rooms. The stems, which connect them all, isn't. For me, I think hallways are also rooms, and so I see it as broccoli. The main bit is the fucking end bits, but the rest of it is still all edible food.
Nope.
The problem with this
Nope.
analogy
Stupid,
is
dumb.
I don't know why you don't. I don't know what you don't get. You fucking idiot.
No, I get it. It's not a good analogy.
It's a great analogy. Think of a better one.
anal
I don't
money.
have to because I can just argue that hallways aren't rooms.
They've been having this argument all year.
We started recording this podcast in what, June? July?
I thought
June.
you were going to say this episode and we've been arguing for
Yeah.
weeks.
I even lost my
I lost sleep over it.
no, I lost my care about whether or not a hallway was a room or not. Because in that episode, I was like, fine, whatever Tom said, a hallway can be a room. What you just said is stupid.
It's not that stupid. And it's so ridiculous that you think it is.
I love that episode because I got to do my wizard move as a barbarian, which was grabbing the dude and then just fucking dunking him into the ice cubes, which felt amazing.
That
but
was
then
good.
Lucy knocked him down into the slime to fix our other issue.
Right.
Whatever.
That was the episode with the gelatinous cube that I did get stuck in, or I almost died in. Like, I got injured by it. That was pretty great.
But you, Tom, like putting him up on the icicles, I think that was really great because like not only was that cool in itself, but that let me do my second thing, which was dropping him into the cube.
That was probably our most synergistic episode as well. Aside from the fact we didn't help Margo for a very long time, we all worked together to fix the issue of the cube and the thing.
I thought I was going to die that episode. I thought that was it for Margo. I literally thought that was the end for me.
And then we were like, okay, let's have a rest while this cube is coming towards us.
It was so funny because Charlie was just kept being like, and I'm going to get you guys to roll intelligence checks, and we just all kept rolling terribly, and it never clicked, and I was like, I know there's a reason Charlie's worried, but I can't think of it. And so I was just like, well, I can't think of it, so I guess I'm just going to have to say there's no reason to be worried. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool that the troll was back. And this was also, we made a joke throughout the whole season that there was going to be a comeback for different...
A league! An evil league of people we didn't successfully kill.
And they all came back.
Was that entirely based on the fact we kept saying it?
One of my ways of thinking about DMing, right, is that it's building a puzzle out of a bunch of different puzzle pieces that don't match. Right? Like you get these different sets, all these different boxes of puzzles, and you mix them up, and you start giving them to players, and they start putting them together, right? Sometimes they say out loud, I think when we finish this puzzle, there's going to be a little picture of a flower in this corner. So then you're like, okay, I think I can make that work. And then sometimes they know the situation, they're like, we want there to be a picture of a flower in the corner. So you're sitting behind the DM corner cutting out puzzle pieces and drawing flowers on it and all that. And in the end, you get close, and they've pieced all these puzzles together. And it may have been planned, it may have not have been. But you get to a point where there's like one last piece. And either it's perfectly planned and you can hand them the final piece, or it isn't. And you can just cut out your own little piece again and just be like, yeah, you guys solved it. And either way, there's always a final piece.
Aww.
Nice.
And yeah, that episode ended with us getting to winter.
Yeah.
Which is
Getting to winter, like Vinslava's castle, was it, or was it?
to the Winter the person.
Yeah, the
That
spirit
was
of winter.
really, really cool. When we were like, yo, finally.
Another question from Jonathan Lake: how was Winter stolen?
Okay, so in the lore of my world, there are these, and it's I guess inspired by regular old religion and lore. The makeup of the world is that the Titan of water, the Titan of earth, are embracing each other, and the serpents, like the giant serpent snakes that are the sun and the moon, which are air and fire, are sort of encapsulating it, like biting each other's tails and revolving around it. And so within that are all these different concepts have personifications. There's time, there's space, there's chaos, there's order. Each of those is an individual with their own goals and their own agency. The seasons themselves also have personifications and agency. The giants know this because they are one of the oldest races in the world. So they've seen the early world where you could actually sort of witness the face of like the water and like the body of the earth and all that, and you can see winter walking across the lands. So they knew winter is an individual, and they knew the power that winter held, and they knew that their race was dying. They knew that when you freeze things, they last longer. So with that, they found Winter's domain.
Who? Name names, come on.
So Vinslaver, the current king of the giants, his father had written about Winter and all that. Basically, the way they stole it was they found Winter's plane through their sorcerers and whatnot. Brer was actually involved with some of that before he was imprisoned, and just, I guess, took her. I don't know.
Clemency, the sword that went through her
Right.
and was holding her there. What was, like, who did that, do you think?
So the sword Clemency is a sword made by the gods, And the gods were something that mortals sort of dreamt up so that they could have an even fight in the world. Because in the time when winter walked and when like you could see all the faces of these titans, mortals' lifetime was like brief and just terrible. So belief, the spirit of belief sort of created these gods. There's these 8 gods in my world who served, pretty much the gods in my world serve the mortals instead of the other way around, and they make sure that they survive. So they made them this sword that could kill and control titans. The giants witnessed this as well. They're not exactly mortals, but they knew about the sword. They have the sword. Brer and his study team would have studied up on this, taken the sword, and captured Winter with it.
Nice.
And that sword became the sign of royalty within the world. It's an executioner sword, so it means it has no tip. It's just square at the top.
And then there was the finale, Winter's War.
Yeah.
Season finale.
Season finale.
Very
In
cool
brackets.
episode.
That was such a fun episode to like record. You brought back so many NPCs. Didn't voice all of them,
No.
but they were all there doing things during
Yeah.
this big final climactic epic battle.
It was the final point of Bungo, kind of going with Bungo's true thing of like just wanting to help people. Was like, no, now there needs to be like actual actions done. As of necessarily being nice, and I liked it. It was a good way to round out Bungo.
It was also a really fun episode for me because, I mean, until I became stupid, because then I couldn't do anything for ever. But it was so fun, like, going into that fight, because I knew that Thorkell was going to die, because that was what we'd set up.
Prophesized,
It was
yeah.
prophesized. And so I was like, cool, I can just go ape shit. And I like had Mulholland yuck me at another, at Vinslav, and that was really fun.
That
I
was
like,
cool.
just got to do some stuff. I missed, so nothing happened.
And you got some really touching moments with your son, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I died stupid, I did have to have that moment where I had to have my soul exit the body and go, thanks guys, bye everyone, fuck you Troy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good way to like fucking end all of that. I also like Bungo nearly died as well. My
Yeah.
health
Oh,
point
yeah.
stayed decently well the entire time. It was the best I'd done in a fight, like health wise. But when we were at that pit, I had a spell that was like part of my wizard deal where I could like switch places with another willing creature.
Yeah.
And it was when Thorfinn was about to die.
Yeah.
And like you only just caught him. If you hadn't, I was just going to switch places with them.
Yeah.
So you guys could finish the plot, and I would have just died in a pit.
Yeah, and I think that would have been insane if all of us died to save the world. It would have been a really crazy ending. But also, I'm so glad Bungo survived, because Bungo deserves it.
Agreed.
Bungo did deserve it.
Bungo was the only one who was like morally right the whole time. Margo at the end.
Look,
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about that. I had, the plan to betray you all from the beginning. Queen Baela, there was the whole... I didn't know Queen Baela was going to be used as, like, bait in Vinslava's big plan against us or anything. So I didn't really know what Charlie expected of me. Like, I didn't know how I was meant to play that situation. It kind of...
Well, that's the thing.
I mean, that's what you want, obviously,
Yeah.
to make me think about it.
Obviously, I want you to be thinking about, like, what you want to do, not what I want you to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So presenting that option where I was so clearly planning to betray you all at some point, and I got out my serpentine owl. I got to use everything except my underwater breathing that I wanted to use from that season.
No, you didn't get to use locate objects.
You're right.
Yeah, locate object went up the
dang.
wazoo.
Yeah, but we did all of that. I got to fly around. There was me catching people in midair with my owl's talons and
That
everything.
was really cool.
I ended up not betraying you guys, didn't I? Or did I betray you at the end?
You betrayed me.
You
did.
You betrayed.
jumped into us and you spun around and
I did
Ahead
attack
of
you
us.
all, yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't deal any final blows. I didn't literally murder
That's
anyone.
not out of a want to not kill us. That was out of a lack of ability.
Yeah,
you did actually almost kill me. Like, I was very close to dead, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna die to Troy. And then the dramatic fucking ending with Thorfinn. Like, Thorfinn's not gonna be able to kill me. You'll kill me. You'll become king of giants, maybe.
Right? Is it me? Who here is going to betray everyone? Who's friend of everyone in this prophecy? Can't be Bungo. Must be me.
I think that prophecy stuff was really funny too, because we were just all playing dumb, because obviously we knew everything, but we couldn't be like, our characters wouldn't know everything. Like, Thorkell was dumb as shit.
The thing is, I think Bungo, like, knew that, like, that she wasn't betraying anybody. Like, she knew she was a good person, and she knew your thing. Like, and she also had a very high intelligence. By the time we got the prophecies, I think my intelligence was 18. Like, I think
I
she
thought
was
you got to 20. Did you not?
I think I might
You
have
weren't
got
on
to
a boat, so you were probably quite smart.
I think I was 20 by the end, but I think when we got
Right.
the prophecies, I was 18.
Right.
One of the two, I don't
Yeah.
know. And so I think I was entirely aware, but I was like, I just don't want it to be true. Which was also accurate for Lucy. Not the intelligence, but just I didn't want it to be true.
That whole battle was incredible. Like,
Yeah.
just so many rounds of initiative, and like there was so little I could do that seemed effective. Like, there were just so many guys, and I was like, I could launch up to 3 arrows maybe. Like, what's that gonna do?
I think it was also great that we all had our own thing to do. I was like, I had my Thorfinn stuff, you had Brer, and you had the Queen. So we all had our own specific thing that we were focused on, as well as the
Winter
common
itself.
enemy in Winter, which was really good for like the fact that you could just be like, I'm going to watch Brer and like hold him down instead of fighting Vinslav, because that's your priority right now, because that's your character's real priority. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I was surprised with myself that I ended up killing Brer. Like, after the fight, just being like, I can't risk Thorfinn again.
As they were, I was gonna say disapparating, as they were like disappearing as well. Like, you dealt that
was
final
clutch.
blow.
I was just like, no, like, I was just like, in my head I was just like, I can't let them hurt Thorfinn anymore. Like,
So good.
not after everything Thorkell gave up.
Hearing Charlie describe everyone disappearing after that battle, like returning home, Baylor, Carter, like everyone, it felt like closure. Like, it was like, oh, these are all the characters we've met over this journey.
Yeah.
We've done these 12 episodes. We're finishing up a season here. Like, it was a good climax.
Yeah.
At some point while we were recording, like, because I think we took 6 sessions to record everything. Maybe 7, I don't know. But at some point, Charlie messaged us being like, what's your character's, like, final goal? And I was like, I just want to save everyone in the box, like, and my friends. Should I not have told you that? Should I not have told you that? Was, like, my 3 messages. And I'm so glad you let me end up helping people. Because I was like, I want to save everyone in the box. It's like, oh, if this turns out to be like a thing where I can't save everybody, I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah, I think I said on that same note, like, well, I've seen Tom and Lucy's characters both fall unconscious or, like, get injured. I assume I'm the one who has to die.
Yeah, you were convinced you were going to die in that final battle.
Yeah.
I think Charlie messaged me. He didn't ask me what my end goal was. He just asked me what I wanted to do with Thorfinn, which I think was funny.
That's because Charlie knew what he was going to do.
Who gives a fuck about Thorkell? What do you want from Thorfinn before? Which was, like, that was good.
Those final moments of that final episode of Winter, we had that nice little epilogue. Well, I mean, I guess Thorkell didn't have much of an epilogue. Did you?
Thorkell's
Thorkell's epilogue
cut
was
off
connected to Thorfinn.
Yeah.
Like, directly, I was sitting there and I was like, sweet, Thorfinn got the ending. Because by the end of it, at the start of it, it was very much like, oh, Thorfinn's kind of like, you know, like, I want to be a good dad, but also he's kind of a joke. By the end of it, Thorfinn was like my son, and I didn't care what happened as long as he was okay.
Yeah. And he had a great ending. We don't need to talk about what happened there, obviously. Incredible.
Troy forgot.
I had Zed come back for me at the end there and launch an arrow at me, which I wasn't expecting. And in the episode, it sounded like I got hit and died. And then you recorded an epilogue and retconned my death with the arrow being there, but no sign of me or blood. So I take it Margarita may still be alive somewhere.
Possibly.
Ooh,
Possibly.
It's up in the air.
that's crazy.
Yeah, my thing was kind of before the epilogue. All I wanted was to save people, and I got to ask Winter that before we did the epilogue. And then I was just chilling in Flamingo. Like,
Yeah.
Right, that's
And
so
then
cool.
we had the baby Groot thing.
Baby Groot, yeah.
With
With
Mulholland. Because
Mulholland.
Mulholland fucking died.
Yeah.
Also, Mulholland getting the fucking spiky fist was so fucking funny. Him just being like, we're being like, Mulholland, help us out. He's like, fuck yeah. Going
Yeah.
full
Okay.
frat.
When I thought of Mulholland, I was like, he also just fucking loves fighting. But like, I'm not gonna reveal that unless it's like asked about. And then like in the final fight, I was like, let's fucking go.
Let's
So fun.
go. I have a question. Did you plan from the start that you were going to have all the characters come back? Or was that a thing of us making
Was that a puzzle piece bit?
That was a puzzle piece
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I thought so.
Yeah.
All the friends we made along the way. Because I
Yeah.
think friendship became a theme of Winter
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
end.
What class was Brer and Vinslava? Can I guess Vinslava was a warlock?
They didn't have specific classes. Like they had stats, they had spells, but like they weren't player characters as
Yeah.
such, so they didn't have actual things. But yeah, if I had to nail it down, Vinslaver, yes, would be warlock. What was the other person you asked?
Brer.
Brer would be sorcerer.
Mm.
And if you guys have more questions that we didn't ever cover, Twitter will just answer. We'll have a thread of stuff on Twitter. You can just keep asking questions. For all of the social medias, we're at Season Quest Pod
On Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
We'll
And-
respond to questions.
Yeah.
Also, if you really have questions about spring when it's over, Lucy will be happy to answer them in the next Q&A. So
Yeah.
you can ask them now with preparation for you'll hear back in 3 months.
Yeah, we'll put up an actual post for spring. But yeah, give people enough time so they can fully catch up on it and that sort of stuff.
Shall we offer one final question each?
I don't have any more questions.
I've got one question for everyone.
Okay, I think let's end on your question then.
Which episode or character would you delete / re-record or change if you could?
Mmm.
I almost said Thorkell, but
I didn't like the tree from Winter, Caterpillar, Stone, and Fire. No, for only the reason of something that I cut out, which was
Deleted scene.
a deleted scene, which is a lot of for Winter, of you saying that someone hung themselves from the tree, and it was just very dark and they didn't like it, which is fucking funny considering spring.
First time Lucy cried while recording.
I didn't.
Mine's
that was,
related to that. I would
that was
have
the
wanted.
first of 3 times I cried in Winter.
I kind of wanted that in.
We had this conversation at the time. And you were okay with me cutting it out.
I was okay with you cutting it out. Yeah, but yeah.
But if you
I'll-
could change something,
Yeah.
that would be the one.
I'll put in that clip here.
It is hard to know humans as they are but flashes in my sight.
Flashes,
Yep.
am I right, Woody?
I was gonna say that.
You didn't understand.
Oh.
I knew but one human well. He came to visit me. Ooh.
What? What was that?
He said he came and I went...
He journeyed to visit me. He added weight to my branch. He hung for a while. And eventually he fed my roots. I enjoyed his company.
the Giving Tree, but bad.
Good grief.
Yeah, well...
Wow, what a great clip.
Oh my god, Charlie, what the fuck?
I
Yeah,
know,
that was
right?
messed up, dude.
If I could change one thing about Winter, if I had just one little section, I would almost change that starting bit, because I think the starting bit was when we were still finding our footing with the podcasting, and also we hadn't played with Troy a lot, so it was us kind of trying to find footing with that. I think if we could play that as we are now, I'd be really interested to see how that starting point went. Just the first hour would be so different now. I would probably hit the tree in modern Season Quest.
Oh, modern Season Quest. I think if we redid everything up to the boat, that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, because
we won't.
I
We're
didn't...
not going to, but yeah.
I had played maybe 5 campaigns of D&D at that point, so I did not know Margo, at all. I made her chunky human ranger, couldn't chew.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of something that happens at the beginning of all the Season Quests. It's when we don't really know our characters yet.
I think
There's one thing, I don't know if I actually did say it or not, that I regret not putting in if I didn't, is just probably Bungo back home, wherever it was, and
the
just...
bachelor pad.
and just like the first snow start falling.
Oh, that would have been no, you didn't.
No.
That would have been nice.
Yeah.
As I'm rifling through all of the level 20 spells,
Yeah.
level 20 spells, level 10, is that
9.
the case? 9, level 9 spells that Tom left me.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I left you under my bed. I forgot about that. But final notes on Winter for each of us based on how we felt about our characters. I've played a few characters since Thorkell now, but Thorkell I think was my most fleshed out. This is the character that I wanted to play. Lucy messaged me about Season Quest and when I was working in November of 2019, and I was like, oh.
No, in December.
Yeah, December. Yeah, and I was like, this is the character that I want to play. A barbarian who just really loves his kid, and then I just fleshed that out so heavily.
I loved playing Bungo. Because I was doing a lot of planning and stuff for Season Quest, I didn't go heavy into character details. I had to spend a lot of time finding spells and stuff. But I didn't go heavy into character details, so I just went with very sweet, which I find it very easy to play. I've played mean characters before, and they've just become sweet because I'm just not very good at playing mean characters. So it was just so much fun playing Bungo, and as I said, I'd never played a wizard before, which was a fucking delight. I loved
wizards.
being a wizard so much.
Wizards are so fun.
Although
Lucy's already a wizard for my
I'm already
campaign.
playing a wizard since then.
Nice.
But I've gone for a cool wizard, and my name is Rebel River.
Nice.
I have a gun.
Yeah, I forgot about.
It's so funny that I have a gun. I'm a wizard with a gun.
Lucy's spellcasting thing is just a gun that instead of firing bullets fires spells. Which is
Yeah.
fucking
Awesome.
dope.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I loved being Bungo.
I'd never played a character who had spells before, so getting to play Margo and have my ranger spells, I managed to grab the ranger D&D spell cards, which made it so much easier looking over at Lucy's very, very long Excel document of all of her spells and abilities
I
and
had a
everything.
5-page Excel document.
Yeah, ridiculous. I got the deck of cards, and it was so helpful to just have them in front of me on the table, playing them in face down position. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing D&D. It got me reinvigorated with the game itself, and I thoroughly enjoyed that part of the podcast, and we've managed to keep it going. Our goal for the first year of Season Quest was to hit 1,000 downloads, and by the time this episode comes out, we're sitting at 1,011 downloads.
By the time
So
this episode.
by the time we're
Recording,
recording
yeah.
this episode,
Yeah.
sorry.
Which is very exciting.
It was really fun, especially since we were level 10.
Yeah.
That was my second level 10 character, I think.
Highest level character I'd ever played.
Yep.
So much more stuff you can do than because we always played low level.
That's right.
Matches.
I'd only ever been level 1 before that campaign.
You know, I
Yeah.
thought about leveling you up to 20 before the final battle, but
Yeah.
that would have been ridiculous. And I
Would've
didn't
been
want to
fucking
keep.
stupid.
I didn't want to keep track of that.
Charlie, do you have any final things to say about Winter?
Winter was so much fun. I always love running campaigns like that where it's pretty much saving the world kind of shit, and having these characters who are destined for greatness or deceiving in choice case.
Deceiving for greatness.
Yeah.
Deceiving for greatness. You guys did wonderfully.
Aw.
I really enjoyed playing Winter with you guys, and it was a delight to have my homebrew world become public.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your homebrew is so in depth.
Yeah,
So
because that's 6 or 7 years worth of me just thinking about a world to myself like a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And there's every single bit of it is in here, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, very.
And I think that's it.
I have one final question for Charlie. I'm
oh my
so
goodness,
sorry.
it's been nearly 2 hours. Okay, quick.
I'm gonna cry.
How did it feel? You know, you've DM'd a fair bit. How did it feel having a structured campaign in terms of you knew there was going to be 12 episodes? You knew that there was going to be those arcs and that these players and these characters were going to be there from start till finish every week.
Yeah, so that did actually affect my DMing, because about halfway through, I remember, I think Lucy was like, hey, we've only got maybe 4 episodes left. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I need to hurry this up, So, like...
That's why we had the train.
Yeah, that's why we had the train.
Yeah.
That's where the train came from. So that we could sort of move through the levels quicker and make that happen. So, like, having to be put under pressure...
Literally railroading your campaign.
Yeah. Literally, yeah. It was new, but I love that sort of shit where you have those limitations. Like, art by limitations, you can get some of the coolest shit out of that. So, I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Very good. I've been Lucy and Bungo the Good.
I've been Tom and Thorkell Gorlaki.
I've been Troy and Margo Rita.
I've been Charlie, and I've been the rest of them.
And yeah, as said previously, you can find us at Season Quest Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of Spring's come out at this point, which is very exciting. And we have the first episode of Summer next week on the 4th of December? On the 4th of December.
I can't wait.
We'll see you then.
I bet everyone's characters are going to be really nice.
Ooh, and have great voices too.